$1 Million Weekend by Noah Kagan. Picture this, June 2006. A 24-year-old kid is living the Silicon Valley dream in its purest form. He's employee number 30 at a scrappy little startup called Facebook. He literally lives in the Facebook house, works side by side with Mark Zuckerberg, and holds 0.1% of the company in stock. Do the math on that one, and you're looking at close to $1 billion down the road. Life couldn't get any better. Until his boss taps him on the shoulder one afternoon. They walk across the street to a coffee shop, and just like that, his world collapses. "Noah, today's your last day." Fired. Just like that. But it gets worse. They don't just let him go, they call him a liability. That word, he'll tell you, still haunts his dreams. For the next 8 months, Noah Kagan becomes one with his friend's couch. His confidence is shattered. He replays every mistake on an endless loop. He'd caught the rocket ship to success, only to get ejected right before liftoff. In his mind, he's already lost at life before it really began. But here's the twist. That couch, that shame, that devastating failure, it was the best thing that ever happened to him. That moment of hitting rock bottom became the launching pad for 8 different million-dollar businesses. Today, we're diving into his book, $1 Million Weekend. This isn't your typical business book filled with theories and frameworks. This is a field manual for action. It's about conquering the one enemy that stops all of us dead in our tracks: fear. By the time we're done, you'll understand a surprisingly simple 3-step process to launch a business in just 48 hours, with almost no money. You'll discover how to spot million-dollar ideas hiding in plain sight, how to test them without risking your life savings, and most importantly, how to find the guts to simply begin. This is about transforming your biggest fears into your secret weapons. Let's dive in. So, how exactly do you go from being a failure on a friend's couch to building an empire? What's the magic formula? According to Noah Kagan, forget everything you think you know. It's not about genius ideas, fancy business degrees, or trust funds. It starts with breaking free from 2 invisible chains that hold most of us prisoner: the fear of starting and the fear of asking. Let's tackle the first one, the fear of starting. You know this feeling, right? You get an idea, something exciting, something that could change everything. And what do? You start thinking, then planning, then researching. You tell yourself, I just need to read a few more books, watch a few more videos, get really prepared first. It feels responsible, even smart. But Noah's here to tell you, you've just walked into a trap. He calls it getting stuck in the how. Here's the thing about overthinking. It feels like the safe bet, but it's actually the most dangerous path you can take. Because every day you spend not doing is another day, breeding more doubt, more fear, more reasons why you can't. Noah learned this lesson the hard way. After the Facebook disaster, he could have spent years planning his grand comeback. Instead, he just started throwing things at the wall. He launched an online sports betting site, then realized he hated sports. He did startup consulting gigs. He organized a dodgeball tournament for venture capitalists. Yes, really. He built a personal CRM website. He started a conference business that pulled in $50,000 per event. Most of these things crashed and burned. But here's the beautiful part. It didn't matter. Each little experiment taught him something. Each failure moved him forward. Each attempt built what he calls creator's courage. His mantra for building this courage: now, not how. The next time you catch yourself spiraling into planning mode, just stop and say, now, not how. What's the tiniest, fastest version of this idea that I can do in the next 5 minutes? Maybe it's just sending one text message. He throws out a challenge to prove it. Right now, not tomorrow, Not after you finish this summary. Text someone you respect and ask them for a business idea. Keep it simple. Hey, I'm brainstorming business ideas. You know me pretty well. What kind of business do you think would fit me? That's it. 2 minutes, tops. But in that moment of action, you break the fear cycle and start building momentum. He's got an even more powerful challenge. He calls it the dollar challenge. Ask someone you know for a $1 investment in you and your future business. Just $1. In exchange, they get a front row seat to your journey. Sure, it's pocket change, but the act of asking for it, of putting yourself on the line, that's terrifying. And that's exactly why it's transformative. It's your first real step into the arena. That's the power of starting now. But here comes the second invisible chain, the fear of asking. Even if you manage to start, there's another demon waiting. You can build the most incredible product in the world, but if you can't look another human in the eye and ask for what you want, ask for the sale, ask for help, ask for that dollar, you're dead in the water. Noah discovered the secret to conquering this fear from the most unexpected teacher, his dad. His father was an Israeli immigrant selling copiers door to door. Young Noah would watch, mortified, as his dad walked into shop after shop with his thick accent, getting rejected over and over. No, 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 no. All day long, an endless stream of rejection. Finally, Noah asked him, "Dad, doesn't this make you want to quit?" His father's answer changed everything. "Love rejections. Collect them like treasure. I shoot for 100 rejections each week, because if you work that hard to get so many no's, in them you will find a few yeses too." Think about that for a second. He wasn't avoiding rejection. He was hunting it down. He set rejection goals. He understood something most people never grasp. The potential upside of asking is infinite, while the downside is basically nothing. So what if they say no? Who cares? But if they say yes, that changes your entire world. This ability to ask, despite the fear, is what Noah calls the ultimate entrepreneurial quality. It's the line separating people who make things happen from people who just dream about it. To build this ask muscle, he's got another brilliant challenge, the coffee challenge. Walk into any coffee shop, buy something, and then ask for 10% off. Don't explain yourself. Don't justify it. Just ask. Can I get 10% off? The goal isn't actually getting the discount. The goal is feeling uncomfortable. It's about facing that tiny moment of potential rejection and discovering it won't destroy you. Everyone who tries this, he says, reports how valuable it is. It desensitizes you to hearing no and trains you to see asking as a game, not a referendum on your worth as a human being. Once you've started building your creator's courage by facing down these two fears, you're ready for the main event, the $1 Million Weekend. This is the heart of the book, a 3-step process designed to take you from zero to your first paying customers in just 48 hours. Step 1 is finding a $1 million idea. This is where most people freeze up. They think they need some brilliant stroke of genius to strike like lightning. But Noah flips the script completely. You don't need ideas. You need problems. Great businesses don't sell ideas. They sell solutions. The best entrepreneurs are just the most frustrated people in the room. They're constantly looking around thinking, this could be so much better. Your own daily annoyances and the frustrations of people around you are gold mines of opportunity. He calls this the customer-first approach. Instead of falling in love with your product, start with the customer and work backward. Who are you selling to? What problem keeps them up at night? And where can you find a bunch of these people? His biggest success, AppSumo, came straight from this playbook. He was a young entrepreneur who needed software tools to run his businesses. But everything was crazy expensive. Then he noticed a company called MacHeist, bundling Mac software at huge discounts, and thought, could I do this for web-based software that anyone can use? He was literally solving his own problem. Then he found his ready-made audience, people on Reddit. He noticed they all loved this new image hosting site called Imgur. So he connected the dots. He cold emailed the founder of Imgur and pitched him on selling discounted pro subscriptions to Redditors. Then he cold emailed a Reddit founder and asked for free advertising. Shockingly, both said yes. He paid a developer $50 to slap a PayPal button on a simple web page, and within 48 hours, AppSumo.com was live. He sold 200 licenses almost immediately. That tiny experiment, born from his own frustration, grew into a company pulling in over $65 million a year. To uncover your own ideas, he offers some simple exercises. First, solve your own problems. What annoyed you this morning? What's been sitting on your to-do list for a week? What did you want to buy recently that doesn't exist? Second, study bestsellers. What products are already flying off shelves? Think iPhones or Nike shoes. How can you create an accessory or service for those existing customers? And third, browse marketplaces like Craigslist or Etsy. People are there actively trying to spend money to solve problems. What are they asking for? Once you've got a few ideas, you move to step 2, the 1-minute business model. This is where you quickly test if your idea has the potential to actually hit $1 million. It's about finding what he calls a good wave to ride. You could be the world's best surfer, but without a wave, you're going nowhere. The market is the wave. Your job isn't creating demand out of thin air. It's finding existing demand and satisfying it. You just need to answer 2 questions. First, is the market growing? A quick Google Trends search shows you if people are searching for your topic more or less over time. Second, how many potential customers exist? You can use Facebook Ads Manager to see the approximate audience size for any interest, completely free. Let's say you want to sell beard oil. Facebook shows you there are about 2.5 million people interested in that topic. If you think you can sell your oil for $50, you multiply those numbers. The total market opportunity is a massive $125 million. That's a beautiful wave. Next, figure out your profit. If your oil sells for $50 and costs you $37.50 to make and ship, your profit is $12.50 per unit. To make $1 million in profit, you'd need to sell 80,000 units. Sounds like a lot, but it shows you the idea has legitimate potential. Noah uses his famous jerky challenge to bring this to life. His students challenged him to make $1,000 in profit in 24 hours, and they picked the business, beef jerky. His initial plan was selling 1 bag of jerky for $20, but after running the numbers, he realized his profit was only $5 per bag. To hit his goal, he'd need 200 sales in 24 hours. Way too hard. So in the middle of the night, he pivoted hard. He completely changed his business model. Instead of selling single bags to individuals, he decided to sell 6-month subscriptions to offices. Now the price was $120, and his profit was $30 per sale. Suddenly, he only needed 33 sales to hit his goal. Much more realistic. This quick 1-minute model saved him from failure before he even started. This brings us to the most critical part of the weekend, Step 3, the 48-hour money challenge. This is where everything becomes real. An idea is just fantasy until someone hands you money for it. This step is about validating your business by getting paid. The golden rule of validation is beautifully simple. Find 3 customers in 48 hours who will give you money for your idea. Not people who say it sounds cool, not people who promise to pay you later. You need actual money from actual people, up front. This separates the dreamers from the builders. The best way to do this? Direct pre-selling. Make a list of 10 people you know who might be interested. He calls them your Dream 10. Then contact them. Don't pitch them like a used car salesman. Have a real conversation. Listen to their problems. Suggest your solution as an option. Then transition to the sale. For his jerky business, Noah spent all day on the phone and firing off emails. Yes, jerky. 3, 6, and 12-month packages. Which one works for you? Amazing. Can you PayPal me right now? By the end of the day, he'd made over $4,000 in revenue and won $135 in profit. He'd validated his business. But what happens when people say no? Remember, rejection is treasure. It's feedback. He tells this great story about trying to sell limited edition posters of tacos. He thought it was genius. But when he pitched his friends, they all passed. Instead of giving up, he asked them one simple question: what would make this a no-brainer for you? And they kept saying things like, well, I really like that taco shirt you always wear. I'd buy that. So he pivoted on the spot. He took a photo of himself in the shirt, posted it on Facebook for $25, and got 15 orders immediately. He turned rejection into a new, validated business idea. Almost every successful business, he points out, had to pivot. Instagram started as a bourbon tasting app. Slack started as a gaming company. The key is listening to your customers. Once you've survived the weekend, validated your idea, and landed your first few customers, the journey shifts from starting to growing. How do you go from 3 customers to 300 or 3,000? You build a growth machine with 2 main engines: social media and email. Social media, he says, is for growth. But forget what you think you know. It's not about having millions of followers. It's about building a small, loyal community of what he calls 1,000 true fans. These are people who know, like, and trust you, and will support whatever you do. He shares this beautiful story about wanting to meet his childhood hero, the athlete Bo Jackson. He learned Bo ran a charity bike ride, so Noah turned to his audience and asked for help raising money. In just 3 days, they raised $30,000 in small donations. When he looked at the donor list, he was shocked to realize he recognized almost every single name. These weren't random internet followers. They were people he'd connected with, helped, and built real relationships with over years. That's the power of a true audience. To build this audience, you need to find your unique angle, your special sauce, what makes you you, and you need to post content consistently. To avoid quitting too early, he introduces the law of 100. Whatever you choose, making videos, writing newsletters, posting on social media, commit to doing it 100 times before you even consider stopping. The first 100 reps are for you, not the audience. It's about building the habit and improving through repetition. But social media is only half the equation. The other, more important half is email. Email, he says, is for profit. He believes your email list is the single most valuable asset in your business. You own it. You're not at the mercy of some social media algorithm that can change overnight and kill your business. He says he'd give up all his 750,000 YouTube subscribers and 120,000 Twitter followers for his 100,000 email subscribers. Why? Because when he sends an email, he knows 40,000 people will open it. It's a direct, reliable connection to his community. To grow your list, you offer a lead magnet, a piece of free, valuable content, like a checklist or guide that people get in exchange for their email address. He shares this hilarious story from the early days of AppSumo when he let his friend Neville, a copywriter, write an email for a boring font app. The email started with, "If you get a boner when I whisper the word Garamond into your ear, you might be interested." They had to tone it down, but the final email was still funny, personal, and full of character. That one email, which was more about connection than hard selling, made nearly 100 times more money than any of their previous emails. It was a $10,000 day, and it taught him a lesson he never forgot. People do business with real people. Finally, after you've started, built, and begun growing your business, you have to remember why you started in the first place. Noah tells this moving story about a time when AppSumo was doing millions in revenue, but he felt completely miserable, lost, sad, empty. He was doing what he thought a successful CEO should do, not what he actually wanted to do. Stuck in meetings he hated, with people he didn't like, selling products he didn't believe in. So he went on a spiritual quest to India, just like Steve Jobs. And there, he had his revelation. The whole point of being an entrepreneur was freedom. The freedom to design his own life, his own way. He came back and made changes. He committed to only promoting products he genuinely loved. He removed toxic people from his life. He scheduled his days with no meetings before noon and spent Fridays having fun with friends. This is the ultimate goal of the $1 Million Weekend. It's not just about building a business, it's about using entrepreneurship as a tool to build the life you actually want. To do this, he suggests creating a dream year checklist, writing down in detail everything you want to accomplish in a year, from work goals to personal adventures. Then you take those dreams and schedule them into your calendar, treating them with the same importance as any work meeting. The journey is hard, and you can't do it alone. He stresses the need for an accountability buddy, someone you send your weekly goals to, who can support you and call you out when you need it. In the end, the book comes full circle. It's not about the money, the success, or validation from others. It's about the journey itself. It's about the courage to start, the resilience to keep going after you fail, and the wisdom to design a life that's truly your own. It's about understanding that you get 52 chances every year to try something new, and all you have to do is just start. What makes $1 Million Weekend so powerful is its relentless focus on action over theory. In a world drowning in business books that read like textbooks, this one feels like grabbing coffee with a mentor who's been through the wars. Noah Kagan strips away all our excuses and boils success down to its rawest ingredients: courage and experimentation. The most profound lesson for me is the complete reframing of failure and rejection. The story of his father aiming for 100 rejections a week is a masterclass in mindset. Most of us spend our entire lives running from the word no. This book teaches you to run toward it, to see it not as the end of the road, but as necessary data on the path to yes. The coffee challenge is so brilliantly simple, yet it's a perfect microcosm of the entire entrepreneurial journey. Facing a small fear, taking a small action, and realizing you're stronger than you thought. The other core idea that truly hits home is now, not how. This is the antidote to the paralysis of perfectionism that plagues so many of us. We convince ourselves we need the perfect plan, the perfect website, the perfect product before we can begin. Kagan argues convincingly that the perfect plan is a myth. The only way to learn is by doing, by putting something imperfect out into the world and letting your customers tell you how to make it better. The story of the taco poster failing and becoming the taco shirt is a brilliant illustration. The market will always teach you more than your own assumptions ever could. So how can you apply this today? First, take the now not how mantra seriously. Pick one thing you've been putting off: a project, a conversation, a new skill. Ask yourself, what's the 2-minute version of this I can do right now? Don't plan it. Just do it. Send the email. Make the call. Write the first paragraph. Break the inertia. Second, try the coffee challenge this week. Walk into a store, buy something, and just ask for 10% off. It doesn't matter what they say. The goal is to feel the discomfort and survive it. You're building your ask muscle, and it's a muscle that will serve you in every area of life, not just business. Finally, think about your own frustrations. Keep a small notebook for a week and jot down everything that annoys you, no matter how small. A slow coffee maker, a confusing website, a service you wish existed. That list isn't just complaints. It's a list of potential business ideas. Remember, customers don't buy ideas. They buy solutions to their problems. That was a summary of $1 Million Weekend by Noah Kagan. We've covered the main principles today, but I have to be honest with you. A summary can only ever be a map. It can't replace the journey. The real power of this book is in the stories, the specific scripts, and the feeling of having a coach in your corner, cheering you on. This summary is here to help you decide if this book deserves your time. If anything we've talked about today, the fear of starting, the desire for freedom, the simple power of asking, has struck a chord with you, then I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning business tactics. It's an experience that might just give you the push you need to take that first, terrifying, and wonderful step. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please show some support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and growing together.